We're always trying to make sure we have representation of all who are eligible for it.
Right.
And that's something we've worked hard on since a court decision came down from the Supreme Court with Janus being that kind of what everyone calls it.
Oh, that's a trigger word for Ken.
Yes, it certainly is. So let's stop there, okay? Because we're talking to a broad audience. And so the Janus decision, in a nutshell, made every public employee in the United States what's called right to work, the ability not to pay dues and take advantage of the benefits of the union. And quite frankly, if you've
It's a free ride.
It's free riders. And if you've listened to the show, that was the genesis of the Midwest Coalition of Labor, because our benefits are only available to card-carrying, dues-paying members. Which after the show, I will make a pitch to you, Tom, as to why the IEA should join us. But we'll talk about that afterwards. But anyway, that's the Janus case, and we've talked about
Always
this in the past.
selling.
What's that?
Always be closing.
Absolutely right. So, and then you're talking about firefighters, cops, teachers, public works guys, streets and sand guys, water rec guys. I mean, every public employee in the United States, not just here in Illinois, does not have to pay dues to their union and can take advantage of the benefits of the union. And what is that designed to do? It's designed to what?
Separate and divide us and make sure that we have some angry people who have stones to throw at us.
Yep.
Divide and conquer.
Correct.
And also hurt the unions economically, right?
Yes.
And, and in the Republican mindset, they believe that by doing that, there's less money going into the coffers of Democrats. And, to an extent, they're probably right. But if you look at, let's talk about firefighters or cops for a quick second. I mean, they lean right, hard right? So I think it's almost, for at least for that segment, it's having a negative impact on donations to Republicans. But, that's a story for another day. You guys, Tom.
And sorry to interrupt, Ken,
Go
but to
ahead.
be clear, that the Janus decision originated in Illinois. This was something that was led and funded by former Governor Bruce Rauner.
Yes.
And he found an employee who worked for the state, who I believe worked in child services.
I think that's
Mark
right.
Janus.
Yep.
And he was basically the straw man who led this case, but this became a national policy and went to the Supreme Court, but it originated here.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
And, it was a shame because Rauner tried to get on the case and he was tossed off, and a couple other people tried to get on the case and they were tossed off. And I know we're moving to the side here, but, there was only one plaintiff left, and that was Mark Janus.
Yes.
And somehow, he made it all the way to the Supreme Court, funded by, hard right conservative groups that I'm going to ask you about in a second, Tom. But back to your union. And, this was the same for us in the building trades and the carpenters, because we do have public sector members. How did it affect your union?
The Janus decision had very little impact. We did not lose very many members. Our numbers continued to stay consistent, and I think that's a tribute to the benefits we provide and why people believe they have a positive impact by being a part of the union.
Yeah.
You've got to educate people, and obviously you have a lot of misinformation out there, and as long
course.
as you get out in front of it and are able to share the facts about what you can bring to the table and why it's important to join, we were lucky to be able to do that, and I think credit to our staff and our members for putting together talking points to just confirm what we already do for our members.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say, I would disagree with you on one thing, and I wouldn't say that it's luck. I think it's hard work. And you guys have 900 contracts to negotiate separately, which has to, I remember when I worked for 150, we had 130 municipal contracts, and I was responsible for, a third of them. I mean, that was a nightmare. And so that's not an easy task.
Yes, every one of our locals has different variables in their county and local and cities they work in. Some of them have really good tax base for property taxes, some do not. So there's variables are all across the board, and that's why it's important for us to make sure that we meet our members where they need us.
I'm Ken Edwards. You just watched a highlight from the Workers' Mic. Check out the full episode on our YouTube channel and tune in on Sunday mornings between 8 and 9 on 720 WGN.